Jeff?
Hi.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
It's got neighbors.
My sign.
I've got a mouth instead of a sign.
Oh, I've got one of those too.
All right, you ready? Good afternoon. Welcome to the Spokane Regional Labor Council. I am the president of the Regional Labor Council. My name is James Teakin, and I am a proud AFSCME member. I am a member of Local 270 Spokane City Employees, and I am a sanitation worker. As a public service worker, me and my fellow members of AFSCME Local 270 help make this city happen by providing the essential services and the community needs that we go out and work with each and every day. We love working for the residents of Spokane. I care about the neighborhoods and the people I am here to serve. I have served for nearly 28 years in this community as a city employee. AFSCME members across the country are healthcare workers, social workers, child care providers, sanitation workers, emergency responders, and so much more. We deliver the services that keep our communities moving. We work hard every single day to serve the people here in Eastern Washington, across our states and counties of Washington. It will mean this big beautiful bill and the cuts that come with it, and Michael Baumgartner's support of it, will mean that we are going to suffer cuts that will affect our rural hospitals like those in Colville, Odessa, the nursing homes, and other care facilities that can and will be shut down across this state. We know firsthand how budget cuts lead to longer wait times, denied care, families going hungry, and rising despair. Our working families here in Spokane will have a much harder time getting the health care they need. There are going to be longer lines at hospitals. The overworked medical staff, understaffed hospitals are going to be stretched even thinner here in the Spokane area. Cities and counties across Washington will struggle to fill in the gaps that are left by these cuts. This means workers like us could face layoffs in our workplaces and have trouble providing those services that you have come to count on. So while Congressman Baumgartner is cutting public services, we are here to remind him that the work we do, the work this community does, the working families do, really matters. Eastern Washington is a wonderful place to live, and we want to keep it that way. That's why we're holding Congressman Baumgartner accountable for siding with the billionaires and betraying our local working families here in the state of Washington and in his 5th district. This is what happens when ideology takes over for a politician's responsibility to their constituents. Michael Baumgartner needs to do better for the 5th District. AFSCME members and our community allies are mobilizing. We're fighting back now and into the future. And Congressman Baumgartner can count on us to hold him accountable to his vote for this big, beautiful bill. And it's lasting impacts that it's going to have on Eastern Washington and even all of Washington's residents. With that, I would like to turn the mic over to Kathy Fleming. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kathy Fleming. I'm a former AFSCME employee at Eastern Washington University, and I am now a proud AFSCME retiree. I never thought that I would live to be 84, but as long as I've reached this point, I'm going to have my say. The budget cuts and the one big beautiful bill will really hurt people. Who thinks it's a beautiful bill? Only the billionaires. Any billionaires in here? I don't think I'll ever reach that status. Millions of American citizens rely on Medicaid, Medicare, and SNAP to survive, including the retirees and our families right here in Eastern Washington. In the city of Spokane, In Washington and across the country, people strongly oppose cutting Medicaid, Medicare, and SNAP. People from all over are taking part in marches and in demonstrations to show this. These programs have strong bipartisan public support, and the numbers that prove it don't lie. According to recent polls, 44% of Americans nationwide want to increase SNAP benefits, not cut them. 50% of Americans want Congress to increase funding for Medicaid, not cut it. Instead, Congressman Baumgartner voted for this bill, and when he voted yes, he told his constituents that he cares more about giving handouts to billionaires than he does about helping working families at home. Where is his promise? And I'm sure you all heard him say it more than once. Where is his promise to take care of those of us at home? In Washington's 5th Congressional District, 91% of the voters opposed cuts to Medicaid, and 88% of voters opposed cuts to SNAP. Cuts at the federal level to major programs will impact public services that we rely on here in Washington. Federal Medicaid funds make 30% of state budgets on average. That shortfall will be made with deep cuts across our public access. If you were to lose 30% of your budget, could you continue to live the same way? That's real money and real public services that people rely on every single day. Congressman Baumgartner, we remember how you voted, and we will continue to hold you accountable for voting to gut our health care and public services for millions of people. We will hold you accountable for raising the cost of health care, grocery and energy prices, for working people and retirees, everybody that lives here. We will continue to raise our voices and speak out. We'll tell Eastern Washington's proud farming communities how you voted to cut SNAP, one of their largest sources of revenue, all so the billionaires can get a tax handout. When our hand is out, it's because we need food or health care. Congressman Baumgartner's vote to pass the big, beautiful bill means more workers in our communities will suffer from higher prices, rising hunger, and less access to affordable quality health care. And speaking of health care, where do you think our nurses and other medical care will be when we need them? Does gone have a familiar ring to it? Retirees like me paid into these essential programs all our careers. And remember, I'm 84, that's a lot of years. We rely on programs like Medicare. Lawmakers cannot ignore the voices of the retirees and workers in our communities. Our voting voices will be heard loudly in the future. Congressman Baumgartner must answer why he voted to cut the services that retirees and working people rely on so billionaires can get a little bit richer. AFSCME is mobilizing across the country, and we will hold those who supported these cuts accountable in every state. These cuts are a choice, not a necessity. Congressman Baumgartner chose to slash vital programs to pay for tax breaks for the billionaires. Let's all face the facts. He made the wrong choice. This bill is bad for America. This bill is bad for Washington State. And this bill is bad for each and every one of us. Thank you.
It's now my pleasure to introduce Lynn Damos from the Washington Federation of State Employees. Lynn?
Thank you, Jim. I think I'm going to have to adjust this a little. Good afternoon. As Jim mentioned, my name is Lynn Damos. I'm a member of AFSCME Council 28, Union of State Employees. I'm also a hydrogeologist for the Washington Department of Ecology. As AFSCME members, we are very proud to serve Washington communities. We're here today to collectively raise our voices as public service workers and retirees. We're here to hold Congressman Michael Baumgartner accountable for his reckless vote to cut vital public services and give tax breaks to billionaires who don't need them. The budget cuts to Medicaid, Medicare, and SNAP are a direct attack on hardworking families, retirees, children, people with disabilities, all of it so billionaires don't have to pay their fair share. From nurses to school bus drivers to home care providers, AFSCME members do the work that keep our communities strong and healthy. Without federal funding, the services that AFSCME members provide and our jobs are and could be on the chopping block. As a hydrogeologist, I protect groundwater quality for domestic use and for farmers who rely on safe and abundant groundwater for agricultural production. In eastern Washington, the water I help protect produces more cherries, apples, pears, and hops than any other state in the country. Few people outside this area know the magnitude of eastern Washington's agricultural production, supplying Washington state and the entire country. Without safe groundwater and abundant groundwater, we will lose our capacity to live in this part of the world, and that's not an exaggeration. People in eastern Washington know that groundwater is essential to our way of life. I love helping manage groundwater supply because I know I'm making a difference in keeping our communities and our industries vital. But now, thanks to Congressman Baumgartner's actions, the administration in D.C. We are in a very precarious position. We are losing federal funding that supports me and my colleagues that work at the state level. For now, funding for the Bureau of Reclamation that manages the Columbia Basin Irrigation Project is being put at risk. That's where the great majority of the water that we use for agricultural production comes from. The irrigation canals that the Bureau of Reclamation manages, operates, and repairs distribute water throughout the basin to over 600,000 acres of agricultural production land. Cuts at the federal level will hurt Washington and the cities, industries, and towns that rely on that water and that funding to provide essential services. The budget will blow a massive hole in our state budgets and our work. When cities, states, towns, and schools lose essential federal funding, they will be forced to make cuts to their budgets, putting all public services and jobs at risk of being cut. AFSCME members have been on the front lines of this fight to protect our communities. Even though this budget has passed, the fight isn't over. We are working to get organized and ensure that we have the power in numbers that we need to wage the battles ahead. Thank you.
All right. I would like to now introduce our mayor of the city of Spokane, Mayor Lisa Brown.
Thank you.
Mayor Brown.
Thank you, Jim, and everybody who's spoken today. It's really important that we do speak out. I, like Kathy, used to work at Eastern Washington University, so I'm going to start. I taught economics there with a little bit about the economics of this bill. And in economics, we talk about the costs and the benefits. And in this case, it's pretty clear the benefits are going to those who already have benefited in our country with low tax rates, and they already have income and wealth and success economically. The costs are going on everybody else. Literally, most of us, the vast majority of us, will experience negative effects one way or the other. I'd also like to talk a little bit about history. Although I didn't teach history, there are many of us here who probably remember that our former Congressman, Tom Foley, was the architect of what is now called SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And the beauty of that is that it benefits people directly with nutrition, the food that they need, and it benefits farmers. And here we are in a rural district, a city in a rural region, and that partnership was a bipartisan partnership. People got on board in Midwest states and in urban areas, Republicans and Democrats. That's been ruptured in this particular vote. Another key thing is after I was at Eastern, I went to our state legislature. And there, a partnership created that has been strengthened over the years is now being threatened. And that is the partnership that funds Medicaid programs in every state. In our state, that's Apple Health. We built Apple Health year after year, expanding the children and families that could qualify to participate in Apple Health. And Apple Health is now being threatened, as are the Medicaid programs in all the other states, by this bill. If it were actually balancing the budget, I think most of us would say we're willing to take some sacrifice, but the sacrifices here are on people like veterans. They've already sacrificed. Let's be clear about that. And so the cuts to the VA, the cuts to SNAP, the cuts to nursing contracts, those are in the wrong place, and this is the wrong time to be doing that. I just want to close by saying we're in the 5th Congressional District, so I'll close with 5 reasons why this is the wrong direction for our country and why we need to turn it around. 1, people. People and their pocketbooks are going to suffer. People and their health care are going to suffer. 2, workers. Workers and their paychecks. Workers and their paychecks that support their families and their paychecks that help provide for their retirement. 3, farms. Farmers. Here we are in a rural region that has people spend their hard-earned money on food, and those grocery bills are not going down, and the SNAP program that benefited both farmers and people is being cut by this bill. 4, businesses. Where do businesses get their funds from when workers and people spend their money? And they're holding back. Consumer confidence is at one of the lowest levels ever, and we're seeing it already, and that brings me to number 5. Our local economy is already experiencing the downturn. We are seeing the impact of people having less money in their budget, so they are pulling back, and what used to be sales tax in Spokane that would grow at 3% is now at less than 1%. So it's already happening. That means that the services that Jim and his fellow workers provide in the city of Spokane are going to be squeezed by budget cuts yet again. So in summary, veterans have already paid the price. This is the wrong place to cut. We already have shortages in healthcare and behavioral health, so cutting nurses and nurse contracts is the wrong place to cut. It's time for us to come together in the interest of what really works for Spokane and Eastern Washington and say no to this bill and turn it around. I've got to add one final comment because it's just too good not to repeat. Senator Patty Murray was speaking about this just a few days ago, talking about those critical cuts to the VA and to Social Security. And here's another piece. We were just named a city, a top city to retire in for veterans. Well, how will that go when we have cuts to veterans and we have cuts to our Social Security office? And the line that I'm going to steal from Senator Murray is, our seniors don't want an AI chatbot. They want a worker to connect them to the Social Security that they've paid into and that they deserve. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Very much appreciated.
Thanks, Kathy. Thank you for your remarks. That was great.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for standing up for us. Okay, sounds like everybody questions. That's great. Yeah.
Oh, great. That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Fantastic. Hey,
Declare to the
Good.